Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So we're going to have a look at some of the updates over the weekend, some of the racing yesterday, and how we got on with a couple of our bets as well. So we started off with a disappointing run from Mr. Malarkey. He was off the bridle quite early, never looked like he was going to win. The two previous Hennessy winners, the Rasher Counter and Cloth Cap, finished 4th and 5th. Again, really disappointing they were. I think, you know, potentially all three of those could retire. The fact they're being beaten by Cyclop and Larry would be a real concern. I think the only angle there really was the only horse who's won recently, as in last time out, was Cyclop. Still obviously able to run to a reasonable level, whereas the others maybe aren't as good anymore. Well, clearly aren't as good anymore. Yeah, probably won't be getting involved on Mr. Malarkey anytime soon, to be honest. 150 at Kelso was the Morebattle Hurdle. The feature race, it was the feature race at Kelso with the bonus in mind. Our McTeague was rubbish. He was in the right sort of position but faded quite tamely. Really disappointing. Colonel Mustard, the other one that we'd highlighted as one of the potentials that could be going for the bonus, probably came out the best in the race. Raced up with a pace. Most others fell away. Lotus Sue, who finished 3rd, picked up strongly. And good old Benson. I mean, we were backing Benson in these runs when he was letting us down. Since he's moved to, who's he moved to? Sandy Thompson. What a turnaround he's had from him. 3 seconds, 2 wins, including a 50-gram Morebattle Hurdle. He's really got him going. He's able to keep up and then use that finish that he's always had. He's always finished his races strongly, but usually he's too far behind. Yes, he's dropped in the handicap, but he's now going to be running off a career high next time. I guess he can't actually go for the county. I don't think he's in the county. He's in the Martin Pipe, which is probably where I think we might see him. Would I be confident that he's going to win again? No. Did he have the ability to win again off that mark that he's currently running off? Absolutely. I think if I was to pick a horse to go and win from the Cheltenham Festival from this race, though, it would be Colonel Mustard. Great effort after, 173 days off the track. Back over hurdles. Ran well considering where he raced from. As in, he raced really forward. He hit 1.3 in the run. You can see, despite, these ones... Lodesu, and there is no doubt they traded a little bit shorter, but considering they ended up so close, they didn't actually go that short because they'd come from a long way back. I mean, this Wajaha went 2.26 after kicking for home, turning in, and I thought he was going to, hang on, and he's ended up finishing 7th. McTeague, not ready for this type of race yet. You would imagine they'll look at juvenile events for the rest of the season with him now. Cormier, this was a much deeper race as we suggested. Anything else that came from the race? Just Tritonic. Still looking forward to him going back to Ascot the beginning of next season. Moving on to the 205, we had a winner, which was great. WizKid, 9-2 when we highlighted him. Went a 5-2 favourite. Just about got home. I thought he was going to get there quite comfortably. Made a bit of a mess of the last. And I thought he was going to run down Sergeant Wilson. More easier than he did. He didn't, which is probably a good thing for him with his Aintree hopes in mind. Surely that's where they go back. It was this one here, I think it was. No, it wasn't. It was this one. He finished 4th in the conditional jockeys handicap hurdle at Aintree. I imagine that's where he'll go back with Luke on board again, who's now ridden him the last 4 runs. I think Mr. Freedom almost helped WizKid by getting close enough to WizKid. He pushed him along. The right 3 horses were at the front, so I think the race will be good enough for WizKid to work out quite nicely, and he'll go to Aintree with a big chance. The 210, unfortunately, we got absolutely no run from Bold Plan. He fell at the 2nd, which was disappointing, so we don't really know how he was going to go. Dargianini ran a really good race. The thing I would say, we were £1 worse off with What's Up With You, who finished 2nd. We'd have probably gone close with Bold Plan. Keep an eye on him, because last time he did this win, at Newbury. He then went to Cheltenham in April and won as well. The fact that he fell, they still probably end up at Cheltenham, in April, and he's definitely one to be considered for the April hurdle race at Cheltenham. Oh, got the 210 already. The 225, we had our second. You can actually see I had my nap and my next best. My nap was Whiz Kid. My next best was Nemean Lion. Top rated. We said the good R figure. We said the step up and trip would suit him even more. It did. I thought he actually won it quite cosy in the end. Surprised at the 4-1. Obviously, if you watched my earlier videos and was aware to be ready for Nemean Lion, he did open bigger than that. I think you could have got fives about him. 11-2 at Bet365, but that was an account that would have obviously probably got you restricted for betting on that. Colonel Harry pushed him, so far, and Snake Roll, I never thought they were that big a dangers, to be honest. I always was confident in the Nemean Lion turning in. I think Richard Patrick actually stopped riding a couple of times, and he's won that with a bit in hand. 245 at Newcastle. Paint the Dream. Yeah, I thought he came there travelling quite nicely. He went 2.52. Didn't pick up. The Big Bite battled really well to hold off Gemarand, who also battled well considering he looked beat. Zanza, what were they doing over 2.5? He's not quick enough, is he? Again, way out the back. He almost ran down Paint the Dream for third. Don't really know what the target is with Zanza. It's got to be a 3-mile race next time at Newbury. Maybe. How old is he? He's 9. Maybe they'll end up in the Coral Trophy next year. Nope. The Coral Gold Cup, formerly the Hennessy, next year with Zanza. But there was nothing really to take from that race. 3 o'clock. Yeah, we got that one wrong. Dance with the Wind was really poor. Dropped away quite tamely. He did try and go forward along with Rafferty's Return, but Rafferty's Return still finished 4th. Dance with the Wind just wasn't good enough. Nelson fell. The other one we was keeping our eye on. So we don't really know much about him. Santos Bleu is clearly very progressive, came through. The only thing I would say is he's beaten Donny Boy, who, if you look at his form, I mean, B5, P6. Yeah, he started quite well in a bumper and then a hurdle race at Newcastle, but since then he's been really poor. How strong was this race? Did it just look like it could have been full of unexposed improvers, and actually it's worked out quite poorly? 3:15 at Doncaster. Obviously we were on Does He Know, who was then a non-runner. So we would have probably switched to under supervision. And we would have been gutted because he looked like he was going to win for a long way. Went forward, which is a bit of a surprise. He normally finishes his races really strongly. And he just got beat by 3/4 of a length by Moroder, who was the outsider or second outsider of the field. Only Neville's Cross went off a bigger price, who did actually come last. In terms of going forward, nothing really there for me. Obviously, we'll look at the handicap marks on Tuesday, and if Windsor Avenue dropped 10, we'd be interested. But I can't see him dropping 10. Although he is 11 years old, I won't be that interested in him. 3:25 at Newcastle. Excuse me. We were watching Black Poppy, and we were watching One More for the Road, Tom. I don't know why I said Tom. It's not, I haven't even got a Tom. Disappointed from Black Poppy. Ended up going a favourite. I highlighted that when it wasn't favourite. It wasn't a bet, but you would have been disappointed if you did jump on that. Finishing 3rd. One More for the Road. Finished 5th. It's this run at Ayr. That's the Scottish Champion Hurdle. Interestingly, surely that's where West Cork ends up as well. The Scottish Champion Hurdle. Both One More for the Road and West Cork are going to be well handicapped for the Scottish Champion Hurdle in April at Ayr. So keep an eye out for those two. The 3:35, the Premier Chase. Obviously, we were watching this with Lamilos, as we've highlighted him for the Grand National. Yeah, I wasn't too disappointed. I know he got beat and it looked like he got run down, but that wasn't the trip. He was just, yeah, he might have been idling. I mean, they might have also gone quite hard. Both the Shunter and Empire Steel did make some ground. Or the Shunter did make some ground. Obviously, Empire Steel did manage to catch Lamilos late on. Went 102. Well, I think it went 101. We're saying 102 here. We need to check that. So if you've got Lamilos at the Grand National, I wouldn't be too disappointed. Interestingly, just going to have a quick check. Obviously, if he'd won the race, you could almost think he might even go off favourite, bearing in mind that a few years ago, Cloth Cap did that, didn't he? He won. Oops. I always spell Lemilos with an S. Okay, he's out to 25s, 33s in places, Lemilos. Purely for being run down late on, winning a race that they probably weren't that interested in anyway. If you haven't backed Lemilos and you still like Lemilos, he's now a price that's worth backing. If he'd won the race, or even if he'd held on, he'd be like half the price than what he is. I think the reaction sometimes to horses getting beat is they overdo it for sure. One more race I wanted to talk about was Neon Moan, who was he didn't feature in my video. I did think he was going to win on Saturday after another look in the race. Very disappointing that he didn't. He came there travelling well, so I just start to worry whether he doesn't find a lot. He did make a bit of a mistake at the second last, which really could have knocked the stuffing out of him. But he came there alongside, he jumped alongside Flash Colognes and Sam Barton. I thought he was going to win quite impressively, but didn't really pick up. Might give him one more chance, we'll see. Most impressive winner of the day was this one here, See You In My Dreams. Absolutely hacked up in a bumper. She was very, very good and looked very, very classy. You know, she didn't just win on the bridle, she won by a distance as well. So we'll be keeping an eye out for See You In My Dreams and see where she ends up. I tweeted this a few weeks ago after we'd done some of these selections. I think this was at the Dublin Racing Festival. Outlaw Peter was beaten a nose at Musselburgh in the, I'm going to say it's Scottish County Hurdle maybe. Maxim is another one that I really like, and Phil's Dudery. Phil's Dudery 9-1 into 3-1 and making a bad mistake. The latter two can definitely bounce back. Well, Outlaw Peter has won next time. Phil's Dudery won today. Next time, can we make it a trouble with this tweet with Maxim in the Pertemps final at the Cheltenham Festival? One final one. I made a tweet today asking Harry Drew, the son of Brian Drew, who owns Brave Man's Game. Best of luck in the Gold Cup to them. They also own Bigstown, who's running tomorrow in this, moderate handicap after 101 days off the track. Now, for me, I don't think they're going for it tomorrow, and I did make a tweet asking, is he being aimed at the Topham over the national fences? He replied yes or Ayr. Now, obviously, he won the race at Ayr last year, the listed, I think it's the listed Quarry Chase at Ayr. I just wonder whether they might look at the Topham. They might not even want to win that either, because I think they're still £6 higher than when winning at Ayr. If they ran tomorrow, dropped him a couple of pounds. They ran it in the Topham, dropped him a couple of pounds. Then Ayr could be very interesting. However, I think there's a really short gap between them, so that might not be a good idea actually. See, I'm just thinking these as I'm going along, and I wonder whether whatever race he runs in after tomorrow is the one I'll be interested in, Bigstown. I imagine he might need the run tomorrow. If I was to pick a horse from this race, then who's going to win it? I think Famous Bridge. The fact that this 146.7 was at this time last year, it was actually the exact day today, as in Saturday, March the 5th, or March the 5th, but it will be, this year, it will be Monday the 6th. He won at Kelso. This is very similar, over fences. He would probably be the one that I'd be most interested in tomorrow. So, am I interested in any going forward? Mr. Malarkey, no. Colonel Mustard, probably in the County Hurdle. Whiz Kid at Aintree in that conditional jockeys. Bold Plan, wait for Cheltenham. That's the same one. Nemean Lion, we was delighted with that, but I don't know whether I'd be that interested in much going forward. Nothing there. Zanza needs to go back up and trip. Nothing there. I'd have to see the handicap marks for the Grimthorpe. Definitely one more for the road for Ayr in the Scottish Champion Hurdle. West Cork might also turn up. Lemilos, not disappointed with that run with the Grand National in mind. Obviously everyone's going to be on See You In My Dreams next time. We'll see where she comes out. Look out for Maxim. Hopefully that can go well in the Pertemps final to make this tweet look quite good. And I'm not interested in Bigstown tomorrow, but I will be the time after that. Thanks for listening. Hopefully you had my couple of winners yesterday. If you backed them all 1 point win, you did come out 3.5 up. So, that's a little profit. I will endeavour to do better next weekend. Thanks for listening. Have a great week, and I'll probably be back on the videos or Tuesday when the handicap marks come out.